What is up, dudes, and welcome to my very brief beginner's guide to League of Legends. Alright, to start off, I will just come out and say that League of Legends is not for everyone. Just like pretty much any game, it does not appeal to everybody. League of Legends has the most toxic community I've ever seen. But if you can bear through it, there are some pretty good experiences to be had with the community. I would strongly suggest that you pair up with a friend or a group of friends. This game is a lot of fun if you can get a bunch of buddies together, or at least one friend together, and just duo queue or group queue. Alright, one thing that I will point out, starting off the game, you will have to play against bots. Bots aren't real people. They do not move like real people. They don't act like real people playing League of Legends. They don't go into real positions. Now, something that other players will tell you, but isn't obvious in the game itself, is that there are a few different positions that are they're kind of set in stone, but they're not at the same time. It's the current meta, if you will, is one person at top, one person in the mid lane, two people at bot lane, and one person who farms and runs around the jungle. The top laner can be a variety of choices. Commonly, though, they are a tank. Typically. Now, for each position, there are so many different characters you can choose and roles you can play. But just basic, typically, top is a tank of some sort. Jungle can sometimes be a tank. Jungle is usually... jungle can be a tank, jungle can be an assassin, jungle can be a variety of different characters. Mid lane is usually a mage of some sort, or sometimes an assassin. Bottom lane, okay, one person is called the ADC, the AD carry. An actual ADC is a marksman, and a marksman is somebody who relies heavily on basic attacks and somewhat on abilities for the most part. And the second person is going to be a support. The support is somebody who has heals, has slows, or has stuns, or pulls, or knockups. They are somebody who can help the ADC to function better, as well as get kills. Now, getting back to the bots aren't people, bots won't know this, and when you switch from bot matches to real matches, it's going to be quite a shock. Alright, next, interactions with others. Communicate with your team. It is a team game. However, nobody likes an F, B, or D. A feeder, bitch, or dick. With lack of a better term, that's the best I got. Because they aren't just, usually they're not just mean or something like that. They are very, very set on being this way. Now, this is a good chance to talk to you about reporting and muting. Muting is a function that you can do in the game where you silence the person's in-chat text. You won't see them, but they can still see yours. And reporting is during the end of the game, there will be, among the symbols next to each person's name, there's one that you can report, and you can choose which category to report them for, as well as you can write a small summary of what happened. Also, in communication with others, there are two types of chat. There's the team chat, and there's the all chat. All chat is everyone can see it, and team chat, only your teammates can see. There's also private messaging, but we won't get into that. Now, team chat is a good way to communicate, but also pings are a good way to communicate. Typically, ping is holding down the control button, holding left click, and moving in a direction. Pings can signal enemies missing, to be careful, if you're on your way, or if you need assistance. Alright, so one thing that will be crucial to your gameplay in League of Legends is last hitting minions, or anything for that matter. Last hitting, it gives you more gold, and it gives you more experience. This is very important for leveling up and buying items. And we'll get back to parts of the leveling up and buying items in a moment. Alright, say you've gotten out of bots. Bots are usually fairly easy. But say you've graduated out of bots and are moving up to going against actual players. It's important to know when you choose a character that you like, what other champions counter them, and which ones do your champions counter. I would encourage you to look up counters, memorize counters, but also to look up builds. Item build, you can find all sorts of builds, but look up a good build, highly rated. You can usually find them on Mobifire, I believe that's what it's called. Places like that, and they'll have what runes and masteries you should have, and we'll get into that in a minute. How you should spend each individual skill point from leveling up, as well as what items you should build and in what order. Next, I'll go on to a game mechanic that I didn't find out till a little while into my playing. That's it's called Quick Cast. Quick Cast takes some time out of it, but sometimes some accuracy out of skill shots and using your abilities. Instead of, say, pressing Q and left-clicking to cast something, you'll just have your mouse over the direction you want that skill shot or whatever ability to be in, and you'll just press Q. You can do this for any buttons, and you can turn them off, turn some on, turn some off, in the game or out of the game. I would encourage you to experiment with Quick Cast to see which champions you like, which abilities to use Quick Cast on. You can switch and turn them on and off at any time, but you do have to make sure you switch them on and off in accordance to which champion you are from game to game. If you like certain keys to be Quick Cast for one character, and the next game you don't get that character, you must be sure to change that. Unless that happens to be what you want to try out. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you. Alright, so the game modes. There are several game modes in the game, but there are a few that people like to play the most. There are draft picks. There's ranked, which is just draft pick only, it matters. Kind of. There's ARAM, and there's blind pick. But also, you can choose to go against the AI as well. But going against AI, that's you have a team of people going against a team of bots. With AI, they have varying intelligence that you can set up. There's also, I almost forgot, there are custom matches that you can create to practice with a friend or whatever you would like. Anyway, there's also event-specific game modes that Riot puts in to kind of spice up things a little bit. Most people, after they've graduated out of the bots versus AI, they'll go on into blind pick. Blind pick, it's kind of a free-for-all. Whoever locks in with their champ first and calls it, that's what you get. Now, I do not like blind pick. I much prefer ARAM or draft. Okay. Draft is much more complicated than blind pick. You choose a role you'd like to have your primary or secondary, and once you get into a match, you choose a champion you would like to pick based off of the position you were assigned, and you choose a champion that you would like to ban. And you can ask others to ban certain champions as well. These bans allows for that champion to not be used in this match, which is really great for avoiding any sort of champions you happen to not like. ARAMs. So the maps I've been talking about so far, the co-op versus AI, the blind pick, and the draft pick are all on Summoner's Rift. It's the basic 3-lane map, and you are trying to destroy objectives and such, which you should both go for kills and objectives and not get too thirsty for kills. There are other game modes that come and go, but another game mode other than event specific and a Summoner's Rift game modes are ARAMs. ARAMs are all random, all mid. You get assigned a random champion, you get thrown into a map that's just one lane. I would strongly encourage new people to play both draft, but mainly ARAMs. ARAMs lets you have a good feel for different champions that you never thought of playing, as well as it lets you get a better handle and more practice on team engages and just teamwork in general. Now, event-specific things, those are special and they kind of vary. There's also a 3 versus 3 map that almost nobody really ever plays. Mainly, it's one of the Summoner Rift game modes, ARAM, or the event-specific. Anyway, that is a basic guide to League of Legends. There's so much more in-depth things like, for example, leashing for your jungle. You should help your jungle at the start of the game, but don't take his stuff. Or getting Dragon or Baron. Those are very important. The 2 giant monsters in the map, and the 4 smaller monsters, red and blue buffs, there's 2 on each side. Those each give buffs to themselves. So anyway, also something on builds. Some of them won't always work for you, so just be sure to actually kind of understand the items before just blindly going into it. Alright dudes, this has been my basic guide to League of Legends. I hope this was helpful to somebody, and I will see you later.